It was. I was a little bit tearful. I won't deny it. I think to sort of be put in that position where you're watching a movie back of your own family, it's not something that you can ever prepare for or sort of rationalise, you know. So actually, when it happened, it was very impactful for me, quite poignant in a lot of the sequences, and I don't know. I mean, but ultimately, it was just a well produced piece of film, and I just came away feeling really proud of not only my family, my mum and my dad, but also the performances and of Eddie and Felicity and Charlie, all of whom had just done such a fantastic job with their roles. Certainly the sort of the early part of the movie, with my father as a young able-bodied guy, just like any other 21, 22-year-old, resonated and for me because I'd never really known him, as that person. By the time I came along, unfortunately his illness had progressed to the point that he was in a wheelchair. So that it meant a lot to me to sort of be able to see this this depiction of him with my mother, of course, as a sort of very young, happy, carefree couple. And I think the other scene in the film that really kind of I found quite emotional was the bit where he's kind of trying to get up the stairs to reach my brother Robert as a baby and not able to do it, and just feeling so frustrated that he's being defeated by the physical nature of his condition. I think for me, particularly for me and my sister Lucy, we found that it was the little details that they'd captured that actually made the difference. Little things that we'd notice that perhaps the average filmgoer wouldn't really notice, but were actually little nuances that just showed the levels of attention to detail that they'd sought to kind of to replicate for the movie, and I think that was really what set it apart for me. I mean, the only other one that I really know of would be the Benedict Cumberbatch drama from about 10 years ago, which obviously focused in on quite a specific era of my dad's life. I think it was all set back in sort of 1963. So, with this film, it was more about telling the story right the way through to the end of the 1980s. So, I think it will be long considered the definitive version. But that's not to say that Benedict didn't do a great job as well, because he did, and it was just that I think that there was scope for the whole story to be told. Well, I think he probably would actually rather focus more on the physics. I think obviously he's had this amazing story. But for him, it's always that what's kept him going as well as his family has been his accomplishments in his work, and I know that that is the sort of that's what's propelled him on. This sort of just insatiable desire to kind of continue with his work. So he's loved the movie, and I think he's thought it's been very faithful to what actually happened. So I think for him it's been a nice balance really of both the work and the personal side.
My wife's already seen the film and said that it was fantastic. So she's been trying to get me to watch it for quite some time now. So I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Of course, the film's already won Eddie Redmayne an Oscar. What makes him such an extraordinary talent, do you think?
I don't know, he immerses himself so much into the character. I think we all have a leaf to take out of his book.
Why do you think the story of Stephen Hawking continues to inspire people from all different walks of life all around the world?
I think because he's like so much beyond what a lot of people can reach. I think it's kind of inspiring to see someone overcome so many obstacles and so many ideas that I think it's inspiring for everybody really.
Are you looking forward to the screening?
Very much looking forward to it. I haven't seen the film, so it's actually quite a big deal for me to watch it tonight and to be at the event tonight. So really happy to be here and great to see you. It's been about a year or so.
It's been a little while. Obviously, this is a film that's already won Eddie Redmayne the Oscar. What do you think makes Eddie such an extraordinary young talent?
I've been actually a really big fan of his for a long time. I used to see him in the theatre. And please don't ask me the play because I forgot it for some reason. But he's just incredibly talented. He's a humble man. And he just embodied him perfectly, from what I understand, because I haven't seen it yet. But he's brilliant.
Talking about brilliant, obviously this is a film about Stephen Hawking, an icon and an inspiration for so many people. What do you think it is about his story that continues to fascinate and inspire so many people all around the world?
Because it's an inspirational story, and because he's around to tell the tale, if you will, and he comes to events and he's visible, and he's someone that I've always known about his theory. I've always known about his story, and here we are 20 years later, and he's still around to in the place he's at, and with the disability he has to go through, he still continues to enrich the world, and that's quite a big deal. And I think that's what makes him very special, and hopefully for many, many more years to come. Okay, so I just finished a film called The Habit of Beauty, which I'm so excited about because it's a beautiful love story. And I just did another film that's just come out called Here Lies, and we've just won the European Film Award for it. So, and I'm doing a play, and that should wrap up the year. So Here Lies is a film I actually finished about a year and a half ago, and it's sort of a documentary style film. It's done. Here, my memory is so bad. It's basically a story about actors and directors and their relationship and artists, and it's got everything from nudity to violence to drugs, so it should be great. And the other one, The Habit of Beauty, is actually a good old-fashioned love story about a couple that finds their way back together after a big tragedy, which I can't quite reveal because it would give everything away. But both are out this year, and hopefully people will come and watch them.
Have you been watching our latest episodes of Thrones, and how much are you enjoying season 5?
I'm loving it, and I have 2 episodes to catch up on. I've only watched 1, so we're going into the 3rd now, aren't we? 3rd episode, yeah. It's better than ever. And I better be in the next season, so it's better than ever. Absolutely, I think, anyway.
I'm curious, each of the characters is very much on their own journey. Is there anyone so far in season 5 who you're particularly interested in, you think is going to have a really interesting time this season?
Yes, Brienne. Always. She is my favourite. I think she has a great season ahead of her. And obviously Arya as well. It's so hard. You've asked me a question before, and I'll probably get in trouble for saying something wrong. But yeah, I think Arya will. This is probably her season. This is probably her year, and it should be.
I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie again tonight. It's a private screening, and I can't wait. I've seen the movie before, loved it, cried a little bit. But this is going to be extra special. To be able to attend a private screening is really an honour, and support motor neuron disease as well. We're excited. Obviously, the release of the DVD is 11th of May. So I'm just a pleasure to be here, really. The thing that I found really interesting about the movie was seeing how Stephen Hawking's life unfolded in front of the camera from a family perspective, from a personal perspective, seeing the dynamic between him and his wife and how he went on to have children and how that worked, as well as, I guess, following his dream and committing and dedicating himself to his studies, which is obviously something that I find quite familiar in my line of work. So being able to juggle family life as well as being dedicated to something as incredible as he has done with his studies is really something to behold. So having hung up my spikes from athletics, I'm focusing my sights purely and simply on health and fitness. I'm planning to launch a free platform later this year and basically just inspire the nation to get fit and active. I don't think the government are quite doing their job at the moment, so I'll take it upon my shoulders and lead the way if I can. A couple of press-ups, a few burpees here and there.
Looking forward to the screening.
Yeah, man, I actually haven't seen it, so yeah, I heard a lot of good things about it, so I'm very looking forward to see it, definitely, yeah.
And why do you think Stephen Hawking's story is so inspirational for so many people around the world?
Just for the simple fact of everything that he's done in the past, and my mum met him ages ago and got a picture of him, and then ever since she got a picture, I was just fascinated. I started researching about everything that he's done in terms of all the space stuff and all his theories, and I still got a lot to learn, so that's why I wanted to come down and watch the film as well, to learn a little bit more about stuff that I might not necessarily know as well.
And talking about inspirational stories, obviously for YouTubers, you're a big inspiration. Can you talk about the future of SBTV? Because I know you're moving away from YouTube as a platform.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep growing on YouTube, but one of the big things that I want to do now is branch out into South Africa and America this year. So later on this year, hopefully I can build out and show everyone it's not just a YouTube channel, but also a business that has its own platform, and hopefully just to keep on growing and getting more views and more subscribers and trying to find more artists as well and branch out of music. So I'm predominantly known for music, but I want to do fashion, comedy, sport, business, one step at a time, not all at once, but fingers crossed we can keep on going. And also get into film as well. Eric Fellner's one of the guys that produced this film, and I've worked with his son Raf, and we worked on a couple music videos, so also bringing in new talent as well. So yeah, that's what I'm all about.
Do you have any advice for all the YouTubers out there who would love to be in the kind of position you're in and would love to be getting the kind of viewing figures you are?
Self-belief. More recently, I got my MBE for my services to music, which was surreal. So it just shows me and shows everyone else that the main thing that you need to have is self-belief and to believe in yourself and just create good content.
And in terms of that content, is there a piece of content you're most proud of?
I don't know, I'm proud of all my content. One of the biggest ones is the Ed Sheeran one of over 8.5 million views. That one was quite a big one for me. But I'm proud of all my content I release. So I just want to tell great stories and expose people to my platform.
I can't wait to see it again. Such a beautiful, beautiful film, and so well done as well. I mean, they can only be so happy with it, the way they portrayed them in it, and it's a beautiful love story too.
What do you think makes Eddie Redmayne such a spectacular talent in front of the camera?
Ooh, well, he's very natural, isn't he? And he lets himself go in it as well, and he's handsome. That helps too. And I think, from what I've heard, I mean, I don't know, he's stuck very much to the real story as well. He's not gone too far from the real story from it. And yeah, I think he's done it real justice.
And why do you think Stephen Hawking and his story continues to inspire people all around the world?
Gosh, well, because it's such a sad but wonderful story as well. He very inspiring, because obviously he's incredibly clever, but yeah, I think it's just it's a sad story, but with a beautiful parts to it as well.
And when you're not watching great films here tonight, what have you got coming up yourself at the moment?
Ooh, I'm DJing straight after this. I'm going off to DJ at a fashion event. I also still doing Big Top 40 on a Sunday. You can catch me on the chart show. And doing lots of stuff with Capital and doing lots of stuff with Heart. And what else have I got? Oh, I'm doing some stuff for... I'm not on it, but it's Benefit Street. I'm voicing all the adverts and doing other stuff with them. But yeah, it's very interesting.
I'm really excited, really excited. I've only recently sort of become affiliated with Motor Neurons Disease Association and MMD Scotland because a brilliant friend of mine got diagnosed with motor neurons disease last year, and I ran the marathon for him last week, and I was best man at his wedding. He just recently got married to one of my best friends, so it's amazing to be able to associate myself with the cause and affiliate myself with the charity that I really strongly believe in, and it's a very exciting time to be supporting motor neurons disease, I think. Well, there's loads of ways you can get involved. Fundraising and obviously donations are hugely important at this time. My mate Gordon Aitman is fronting an extraordinary campaign at the moment called Gordon's Fight Back. And he's doing incredible things in Scotland, which is also raising awareness internationally. But I think what's really important about motor neurons disease at this moment in time is that there really needs to be the support of pushing through, of care, and everyone is working towards an MMD-free existence for all of us. And at the moment, I think the reality for a lot of people who are suffering is that, within sort of 14 months of diagnosis, they die. And with continued support and scientific exploration, hopefully that will, diminish. I mean, it's an amazing, amazing story, and of course, it's so beautifully performed by Eddie Redmayne and Felicity Jones in this film, and put on by James Marsh, the director. But obviously, that's not the reality for everyone who's suffering from motor neurons disease, and that's something that's really important to remember, I think. But yes, what an extraordinary story of strength, but it's a good study of how I think it fractures relationships, and it's motor neurons disease is just an epicenter for so many people, and how it can break families and break people and bring them together, and the strength and the positivity that comes through sufferers as well, I think, is also brilliantly captured in the film. I know that actually Motor Neurons Disease, or MMD Association, played a big part in the making of the film, and I know that they were great at sort of consulting him on various different props, and also just talking about how the disease physically affects someone, and that's something that he is academically and physically really taken on to a sort of virtuosic level. But he's a really intelligent, engaging actor, and he's taken on this huge task. I think, only from having seen the film, with a great level of integrity and respect for the disease and for the Hawking family as well.